Talk about it with Franjez. Today's special guest is the queen of pedicures. Today's guest is Tai Martinez.
Hey, what's up? How is everyone? Thank you so much for having me on this amazing show. I can't wait to talk about it because we're going to talk about it.
Thank you very much for being a guest. How are you doing today?
I am good. I am excited to just talk about what I do and why am I the queen of pedicures. And we're going to talk about fungus. We're going to talk about ingrowns. We're going to talk about, I feel, a lot of things that people don't talk about, our society don't talk about. I say it's taboo because it's just not talked about. This is probably going to be the first time that where a nail technician is really going to be out there and just speaking about a topic that affects many of us. And many of us think that is nasty when it's not nasty. You got to know the story behind it. And at the end of the show, hopefully more people can understand and can be more understanding to those that don't have the best pedicure, the best feet, and are a little bit ashamed about it. And instead of saying like, oh, that's nasty, or things that are inappropriate can feel someone, make someone feel bad. You know, hopefully today we can change that.
I'm excited. I'm excited to dig deep into nails and feet.
Just say this. See, this is why it's taboo. This is why it's taboo. Views like feet and, you know, yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready to go crazy. But let's start from the beginning. Where were you born?
So I was born in New York. I was born in the Bronx, and we later came to Yonkers. First it was Bronx, then it was Washington Heights. And in Washington Heights was where we really realized that, started to see the culture. So I was been in and out of the Heights. And then I came to Yonkers when I was 7. So majority of my life I have lived in Yonkers.
Nice. Mm-hmm. What schools did you go to?
So I went to elementary. I went to PS14. Middle school, I did Burroughs when it was Burroughs. You remember those days?
Hell yeah.
Burroughs. Yes, Burroughs. And then after that, I went to Gorham High School.
Oh, that's where I went.
Yeah, Wolves, right? What year did you go? What year did you graduate?
05.
Oh, I graduated 03.
Oh, okay.
Nice year though. It was
Nice.
good times. You were on that truck with the
the
soup?
hot dogs and the soups and the sodas.
And the sodas.
I never shopped there.
What?
I lived up the block.
Okay.
And I never cared for what he was selling. I never, till this day, do not agree with a soup and a soda.
What?
It makes no sense. Why would I combine a hot beverage and a cold beverage at the same time?
It was amazing back then. They even made a song. Who was it? Little Mama that made the song?
The song is amazing.
You should have tried the food.
But the concept is ridiculous.
As an adult.
That's a real Yonkers thing. But I guess
is.
if she's rapping about that in Harlem, it must be a New York thing maybe.
I guess.
Soup and a soda. Makes no sense. No sense.
Yeah, hot sauce. Don't forget the hot sauce.
Hot sauce is amazing on a soup.
Right.
But the soda doesn't make sense.
It was good times. You took me back.
Yeah, that was good. Tell us a little bit more about your childhood.
About my childhood. So I am the only girl.
Oh, nice.
Only girl. I have brothers. So my mom, I'm first generation to be born here. So that first generation is kind of tough because you're, as a young child, trying to find your way in this whole big world and trying to understand why your parents are don't develop to probably capture the culture, the English language. So it's kind of like being a Dominican. It's a flow. It's a flow. It's an energy. It's an environment, a culture that's so rich and beautiful. And when you go visit the Dominican Republic, it's like you fall in love. You fall in love with the people. You fall in love with the food. And there was nothing like being being Dominican. But then I struggled because I also was American. So being that first generation, it's like, okay, what am I? Dominican, American? Because for me, I felt like I wasn't American enough to be American or Dominican enough to be Dominican. So as an adult, I found my way. in between both. And it is something that I have embraced and I love. And I realized that you don't have to choose. I am the first female boxer at the Yonkers PAL. My coach was amazing. And that's really what time in my life, I got all the tools that I needed. I learned at that age that foundation is so important. He explained to me that a home is nothing without a foundation. So I've been in a position where my mom has, she has had her own salon since I was 18 years old. So my routine was very strict during a certain time. When I was in high school, I would I would walk to school because I lived on North Forward. It was so dope. I would walk to school and I would not even realizing, now as an adult, you realize like, oh wow, I was doing exercise. And then I would come back and I would eat dos platos de arroz habichuela because my mom would cook, you know. And I was hungry and, you know, and Lake Avenue, they had their fast food. And I didn't grow up in a household where it was like McDonald's. It was Burger King. Like McDonald's was one every 3 quarters. You know, and for me, I grew up eating really good food, going to DR every other summer to visit my grandmother. And there I had a whole different lifestyle. So to come back, you know, I could understand as a young child not knowing where you would fit in. Because when I would go to the DR, mira, esa la gringa. And you know what they say about gringa, you got to be careful. Green card, you know. That's what my family is. So be careful. Oye, ten cuidado. I'm watching you. So I just grew up in fighting a boxer, you know, and boxing has been my foundation. And it's been so beautiful that even today I go back and I'm like, there's my Papa style. You know, there's my family. That's home. Because I have moved around in Yonkers. I lived in School Street one time, which was my senior high school. And then I lived there 2 years of college. So I was in the South Side for a little bit, but I grew up on the North Side. So for me, I would, after I ate those 2 rice, those platos, man, I know you're shy. You know, I had a routine and everybody would see me at the same time. And it didn't matter, it was rain, snow, I was there. They had to kick me out sometimes for the PAO. I would come home by a certain time. Then I would take a shower right away. And 9 o'clock, I was in bed without no one telling me. So when you go through life and you go through the waves and you stop pointing, you stop saying, you know, you really just give yourself credit and you say, you know, I am a good person. I deserve this. You start to really live a better life and you realize that certain things don't matter.
What religion you grew up in?
Oh my God, Catholic. Of course, yo soy dominicana. I was even a altar girl for a little bit. I did my confirmation and everything. But I say that I'm a Catholic with doubts. I don't doubt the religion. I don't doubt God. I believe in God. I'm a faith believer in God. But I say doubt because I don't believe it's right, certain things that they have done with children and things like that. And I don't feel like me saying 10 Hail Marys or, you know, whatever is going to go away if I keep doing the same thing. But why is it also I have to tell someone else how I sinned? I don't feel like I need to go through you for me to reach that, because I have access to that 24 hours because he's my God. He's my Father. So now I go to Catholic church, go to Christian church. I go to any church that is God. I feel that church, when you say, oh, I'm this, I'm that, you're kind of dividing. And for me, God is everywhere. So if you have a church and I can sit there and agree with what you're saying, because God is amazing. God, you know, he's our Father. He teaches us things just like our own parents. Sometimes it's not like, oh, why would we have to go through that? You have to go through it. some things are really bad. Yes, some things are really bad, which there's no excuse.
So how'd you get into the boxing?
I fell in love with it.
I mean, but how
Yeah,
how did
yeah.
it start? How
I fell in love with it.
I mean, like watching it on TV?
No, I never been. So I am the only girl out of brothers. So I always had to defend myself. My brother and I, we would go one-on-one. My little brother, him and I too. My mom was very strict with me, and I respected her a lot. I still respect her up to this day. But if she told me I couldn't do something, I wouldn't even bother. I wouldn't. Okay, not a problem. So once I started high school, I wasn't a child that did activities at school because my confidence was so low. When children go through certain things that are not in an environment that provides positive and encouragement, and doing sport is not probably the best thing for a child. So for me, I didn't do sports in school. And when my mom put me at the PAL because it was close to home, it was something to do, it was right in the way. There was just nothing that I liked. Basketball I didn't like, baseball I didn't like. And I passed through the gym. And
this is the school gym?
no, this is the PAL.
PAL.
Yeah, I didn't do sports in school at all.
So you went to the PAL looking for a sport that you wanted to do.
No, I went to the PAL because my mama told me I had to do it, and I had to go do something. I had to figure it out. I had to do something. So when I went to the PAL and there was nothing there I liked, and I looked through the mirror, the boxing, the glass, the door, and it was just like, I believe that's boxing, and I want to do that. I was sad. Went home.
Before that, did you see it on TV or anything? Or that
Most likely I did.
Like,
Most
you
likely
knew
I
it
did.
existed. You just never cared too much to look into it.
It was not my thing. I did karate.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. It wasn't fun
It's
for me.
actually maybe the closest thing to karate in the PAL.
Yes. There was karate at the PO. They did a
Oh,
lot
there
of
was?
different. They did a lot, but
nice.
because I had done it and it didn't interest me. I was like, no, I just don't.
Boxing is
Don't wanna
close
do
to it. It makes
It
sense.
is. So
It's familiar.
yeah. So I saw it. I was like, I want to do that. So I go home and I tell my mom. She's like, no. I'm like, what? Why no? No.
She doesn't want your face getting hit, of course.
You too bitty bubble. I said, well, Mom, I got some money. I got a little bit of money. I'm gonna use that money and I'm gonna do it. Okay, but it's not in my will. I don't want to do it. I don't want you to care. I said, all right, no problem. Okay, still gonna do it. So I go, I sign up, and it was that foundation. It was so annoying and so painful sometimes because he just focused on foundation, so my legs were hurt after, and it was like 2-3 months, but I never once asked him or questioned him because it was something that I wanted to do. Because I wanted to do it, I was determined. That was the first time ever I was determined. I didn't have to read out loud. I didn't have to take a test. I didn't have to I didn't have to try out. I gave it my all at that point. And my all was, I don't question why am I sitting in this pose, my legs. I didn't even tell my mom because, then my mom would be like, yo te dije a ti, I told you not to. And, my pride, everything was on the line for me right there. I don't know. So the first day that I punched, he was like, jab. And after I jabbed, he put his glove down. He was like, you can fucking punch. And that was the first time ever in my life that someone told me I was good at something.
Oh, that's why you liked it.
No, I liked it before.
No,
because
but I mean that really
that's
gives
what gave
you,
me, that confidence, that push. Like, wow, I'm good at something. Me? No way. I'm sticking to this. You know, I'm sticking to it. And that's how it happened. I found my second home. I found my American home, because at home I had my Dominican home, but I found my family. I had protection there. I had a relationship with the police, you know, like with the community. People started to recognize me. My teachers would respect me. My friends would respect me. And I was like, that was so private to me that I didn't want my friends, I didn't want my cousins to be like, she's a boxer. When they would say, I'd be like, excuse me, don't. When my friends would be like, oh, come on, no. When certain friends would be like, oh, come on, let's go jump this girl, but I had, you know, I'm diverse. I can be very, very professional. And then I have my hood side too, which is my Yonkers. I love it. I'm not letting go of that, because that's part of me. So for me, it was just like, no, I'm not doing that. I was a leader from a young age, because one, I knew my mom would whoop my behind. You know, she caught me out here in these streets following some, you know, but second, I had things to do. I was going places. I don't know where I was going, but I was going to college. You know, I was going to be a cop. That was my dream. So for me, it was really cool.
You want to be a cop. And what happened to that dream?
I didn't pass the test, bro. So the highest I scored was 85. And then after that, I couldn't take the test again. But see, that's what happens when you go with the flow. I'm okay not being that. Yeah, I got cop friends. I got firefighter friends. You know, like, I love what I do. I'm happy it didn't happen, because that job is so stressful. And I have learned you never know what the other person is going through. So always try to be kind. Sometimes that person doesn't want to be that way. That person probably feels bad because they reacted that way, but their pride won't even say, I'm sorry. So, I'm good. I'm good. I respect that. I love ya.
So how far did you take the boxing? Like, did you compete? Did you, what age did you stop?
Yeah, so with boxing, I did amateur boxing. I didn't do professional. My boxing coach didn't want me to. He did want me to get a scholarship and go to Colorado, but I didn't pursue it because I didn't have that many fights growing up. It was different during that time, because not that I'm bragging and I'm not one of those, but I was a really good boxer. I was very good. I had to spar with guys, majority. I had one friend that I went to high school with, and she boxed with me, but she didn't like to spar with me because my punches, I guess, were harder. I don't know. And then I had one boxer from Mount Vernon, and my coach got her for us to spar, and she only sparred with me once and never came back. So my sparring was different. It was more with guys. So when I would go to matches, they didn't have that many female boxers in my weight. So a lot was walk through, which is when the other boxer doesn't show up. And then I did 3 fights, and each I lost. The first one, you know, it's kind of like, it's not that you have right away you're the best boxer, but when you don't have that much practice, or you have certain practice, I'm actually shy as much as I'm like bubbly and very shy. So especially during that time, I was like extremely shy. I was like, you know, my coach would say all the time, like, if I take Tai to a boxing fight, she's going to fight. If I take someone else, they ain't going to fight. So I was always like, yeah, I got this. Scared, but I did it. So it was very different. It was different. And for me, I didn't have that many fights, but my last fight that I did, it was the first time I had traveled outside of Yonkers, and we traveled to Georgia, and the national PAA was their fights, and it was to be among so many different boxers, it was pretty cool. It was really, really cool. And that fight was so good. And I thought I was going to win. And the other boxer thought I was going to win. But my ego got in the middle. And like, I don't know what happened. And at the end, she was like, thank you for a good fight. And after that, my coach was like, oh, that was a good fight. I was like, no, fuck that. And he said, you never act that way. So there has been many lessons that I have had with him and many other mentors that I have had along the way.
So when did you stop boxing?
Stop boxing when I started partying. I was going out with my friends. I was drinking, happy hour. I was working. I was going to school. Life just got real, and I just let go. I go in and out, you know, but I realize my age sometimes, and I'm like, ugh. But you know, that's actually just me not having enough time. If I really wanted it, I would have it. I let life get into it.
So let's talk about the salon.
Yes.
How did that come about?
My mother, I never wanted that lifestyle because I saw my mom growing up. I was her first customer, and then once she had the salon, I was 18 and I would go to school, do my job, and go help her. Or if I didn't have work, I would go to the salon. Every time I would go to the salon. So it wasn't the life I wanted. It wasn't the life that my mom wanted me to have. So that's why I went to college. And then after that,
what did you go to college for?
So I went to, first it was criminal justice, then it was business, and then it became economics. I fell in love with economics. And it was pretty cool. But my mom owned a salon since I was 18 years old. And then once I was going to college, and I realized that I took my time. I went to college like for 10 years. I extended that. I really, really did extend that time. It was a struggle for me because I learned at that time that I had dyslexia and I had ADD. So I realized why I was in special education. I just never realized. I never got the attention that I needed. So once I was in college, that's really when
it doesn't even make sense. And you were in special ed and they never figured out what the problem was.
No.
So dyslexia is when you just switch letters up or something like that,
letters,
right?
numbers. Sometimes you may say something, but you're thinking something different. So I had to work through that. And it wasn't until a professor in Lehman College that pointed that out to me. And I just always been this very cheery, happy person. So professors would always be like, you know, and once I was in college, I got my first A. I'm going to be honest with you. I got my first A. I was a C student. So once I was in college, I got my first A, and I was feeling myself. So I felt smart. And I would sit in front, I wouldn't sit in the back anymore. I wouldn't be ashamed. I was smart. And I just started having relationships with administrations, professors. That's really when the other side of boxer came out too, because my boxing coach, when we hosted home fights, we would do the raffle, and he would send me around and do that. So, I'll talk to a tree if I need to, if I have to. So, that's when he was like, Taisha, read this out loud. And I read it out loud. He was like, have you ever been tested for dyslexia? I was like, no. And then when I went, I was like, wow, it was like a whole new world. And I realized that I just learned differently. And I realized that why I would do certain things, and why I was good at one thing, but I wasn't good at another thing. So once I realized my superpower, because having dyslexia is a superpower. There's so many people that have it. I'm like, wow, this is okay, I got this. So once I went through that journey, and my mom goes like, I'm going to open up a nail salon. At this point, she had a car wash, which I managed for her. I was going to school full time to get my associates. And then out of nowhere, she was like, oh, I'm going to open up a nail salon. I was like, okay, cool. I said, who's going to run that? Because you have a hair salon. She's like, you. So I'm like, oh, great. Something else, you know? So she goes like, after a while, she's like, oh, I'm going to name the salon Tai. I was like, oh my God, mommy, gracias. Thank you. I'm like, you know, I'm really feeling myself because I'm like, I got a salon. I'm calling my friend. Tengo un salón. Se va a llamar Tai. No, de verdad, sí, ya tú sabes. My mom bust my bubble right away. And she's like, no, me, because it sounds Chinese. Chino, you know, a lot of people will come. I said, you know, okay. All right. And it's true. A lot of people would come because they thought it was Asian. So when they see this Dominican crew, it's like, what? You know, so I was there for a few when it first opened. And I was like, this is not my life. This is not what I want. Because my mom is a hard boss. You know, she's loving, she's great, but I'm her daughter. So, you know, she's even harder on me. I'm like, Ma, take it now. You know, it's a thing. It's a Spanish culture thing, right?
The expectations, too.
Right. Yeah. So I left, and at that time I traveled a lot. I traveled so much. I learned the world. I really got to explore. I was with someone at that time that he just he had the type of job that just allowed him to take vacation. So it's like, we will be here, we were there. One year, I remember we went like 12 different places. And one year I'm like, oh, wow, this is pretty good. So I learned a lot. So when that relationship ended and I returned, that's when my whole life changed. Because that's when I found my purpose. I found my passion. And it was hard. It was so hard. Oh my gosh. That I wouldn't have it no other way. As crazy as it sounds. I wouldn't have it no other way, because there's a difference when you go through something. When you go through something. When you go through something, the problem is still there. The problem's still there. So it's like, you're avoiding it. You can avoid it by drinking. You can avoid it by eating. You can avoid by being in a toxic relationship. You can avoid that by being angry and like.
Yeah, avoiding it is not going through it.
Exactly.
Going through it, you grow through it.
Exactly.
You go around it, you're not going through it. It happened, but it didn't happen to you. You were numb the whole time.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly. And that's how, when I went through it, it was so amazing who I met on the other side.
You went through what?
I just went through, how many years? Let me see, 31. I would say 7 years. And that makes sense because I have learned that a woman goes through changes every 7 years.
I mean, woman, humans.
Humans? Okay.
Yeah, humans.
Right.
Yeah, men do too. Every 7 years.
Okay, I'm happy you know that too.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to throw human in there, and then
you
throw me with the facts. Right, I'm a feminist. I'm focusing on women.
You're just focusing on women.
No, I do focus on
guys,
men too.
us too.
You guys matter too. You guys matter too.
We grow every 7 years.
Yes, every 7 years. And when, had I not gone through those 7 years of lessons, I wouldn't have the knowledge that I have. I wouldn't have.
But what I was asking was, what did you go through for those 7 years?
Oh, damn, that's like way too.
No, but what do you mean? What happened?
That's, we don't got time for this.
All we
but
have
I put
is
it very
time.
short. But I put it very short. Very short. I may need more alcohol for this.
Well, I got more. Whenever you're ready.
Please.
Whenever
Thank you. Yes, because we're going to need some alcohol. Talk about it now.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. Talking about it. We're Franjez. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers to good conversation. Talk
Cheers
about
to
it.
good conversations. Yes. All right. What did I go through? Let me drink a little bit more.
Yeah, because 7 years is a long time.
I didn't realize that I was going through it. I didn't. So when I left the relationship I was in right before I moved, I went back to the salon. It started with the relationship.
Let's backtrack just a little bit. You said after the relationship, you went back
home.
So where were you living?
We were living together.
Where? In Yonkers, in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because you mentioned traveling a lot, so I don't know if you guys lived like in a different country or something.
It wasn't that type of life.
Okay.
It wasn't a balling situation. I mean, I did picture.
That's what it
I did
sounded
put it
like.
in my bag. I'm sorry. He was just
12
a firefighter.
trips in a year? Like,
he was just a firefighter, people. He was just a fighter, you know?
Just a firefighter.
We weren't living that type of lifestyle. We weren't.
Man.
Okay.
All right. Now we're on board.
Okay.
All right. So the relationship is over. You're
Okay.
like, you know what? I got to get my life together.
I had to because I was unhappy for some time. So I was like working really hard. I was working part-time as a paralegal. My last year, I took 10 courses in 1 year because I wanted to finish school. I was done. I got kicked out of 2 schools. And the way I got kicked out of Lehman was not cool at all. I was pissed. I was so frustrated. I was like, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not getting my bachelor's degree. I'm done.
Please tell us how you got kicked out.
Okay. I'm happy I can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's working through it.
Jay, I misread a question. I thought the question said, what college did you just graduate from? So when I submitted the application and I get accepted, because I only put Westchester, I didn't put John Jay. So when I submit the application, I get this letter, you're accepted. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Doing really good, Taisha, right? So I go to Lehman. It's my last year. Now, Lehman, don't come after me with this because you know you did wrong. And you know everybody that went to Lehman has something to say about your administration department. That's just not me saying it. They didn't have the best administrating department at that time. So many of us had to do our own research, our own homework, be on top of our counselors. I remember there were a few times that I was in financial aid office and I would hear student cursed out at someone in the office. So I knew what I was up against, but it was a really good college. It had a name. It put that name on your resume and it looks really good. I wanted that. So it's my last year. I go to my counselor and she's explaining, I have this and that. And I say, are you counting my John Jay credits? She goes like, John Jay?
All we have is Westchester.
All we have is Westchester. I said, yes, but if you look at my Westchester transcript, it says other credits. You guys never asked me for, because in the application, I only put Westchester. It wasn't that I was lying. Is that at that point, I didn't know I had dyslexia because it was a professor in Lehman that pointed that out to me. Professor John Fuller, what's up? I love you. I love you. I miss you. Thank you. He stood up for me. That man really did stood up for me. And he was upset and the The chairperson to my department was upset. It was an honest mistake. So I'm in my last year. Now I'm like, damn, I just opened up a can of worm without even knowing. Like, here I go doing the right thing, as always. So it backfired on me. And I remember I would meet with the president, and I was the one that was on top of them because I wanted them to see, like, this was an honest mistake. It wasn't that I was lying that I wanted to do this. It was just an honest mistake. So they wanted to make an example of me. And at that point, when they told me what the consequences was, which was if I'm found guilty, then that means that I will be terminated from attending a CUNY college for 5 years. When it was my last semester, my last year, I went to that bathroom and I panicked. I cried because my future was in their hands. So at that point, I'm away because I even took summer courses. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going because I know they're going to tell me that I'm not found guilty.
But guilty of what, though? Not letting them know about your John Jay?
Because I lied in the application. Because when they compared my John Jay GPA to my Westchester GPA, it was lower than 2.0.
Together they would have averaged. I see now. So it looked like you were trying to hide those credits to not bring your average down.
Exactly.
Damn. So I'm assuming you were found guilty and you got...
So they're like, so we're going to do you a favor. And we're going to give you 3 years instead of 5 years. I said, excuse me? That means that I cannot attend any CUNY school. Oh, but you can go to a private. You can go to Mercy. I said, so you're telling me that these 10 years, because it felt like 10 years. You're telling me all these years that I've been here, it's going to be, you're not doing that to me. And that's why my professor and my the director to my magnet, whatever it's called at that point, was very upset because they believed me and it was an honest mistake. So I looked up a college. I looked up and I found SUNY Empire State College. So in New York, you can do CUNY and SUNY. The difference is that CUNY is a city college and SUNY is a state college. So I had to fill out an essay, all of this. I'm like, damn, I got to go through this all over again. So I did it. I got accepted. And there was one thing that my mentor, because that school is so good that you have your own mentor. This mentor, you can send an email. I want to speak to you. I'm having this issue. What a college should truly be, because the amount of attention that I got, had I went to that school from the beginning, I would have finished school sooner. So I had a mentor that she told me, she was like, Taisha, let me say something to you, because I was very frustrated at that point. She's like, you still have 2 years. I said, what? 2 years? What? I just, wow. I'm like, oh my God. And she tells me, in 2 years, when it comes, it's going to be up to you how you want your future to be. Whether or not you want that degree, whether you want that diploma in your hand or not. Right away, I was like, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I remember the last year when I was like, yeah, so I'm going to take 10 classes. She's like, you're going to do what? I said, yeah, I'm going to take 10 classes. You're crazy. I said, if I don't do it now, I won't do it. I am tired. I am sick and tired.
So after college, what comes next? Is that when your relationship happens? And that's before you have your salon?
No, so I had the salon prior to getting my bachelor's. So the salon was there after I started my associates.
Associates
I'm sorry,
was which
after
school? Which school was
associates was Westchester Community College. So I graduated from Westchester Community College and from SUNY Empire State College. From Westchester, I got business administration. And then in Empire, I got business economics and management. And after that, I went back home from my previous relationship.
All right, so the college and the relationship was happening simultaneously.
So college, I wanted to move out because things were just not working out, and I had gotten sick with pneumonia during that time, and it was really bad. And this is why it's so important to listen to your body. And at that time, my body was under a lot of stress because I was taking 10 classes. And the way that I worked it was that I did 5 classes for one semester, and then the other 5 classes the second semester. But for 2 weeks, there was 10 classes because finals was finishing, and so it was very stressful for me. And at that same time, I was bartending. I was waitressing. So I remember coming home. I had a routine. I would come home and I would just cry because I didn't want to do homework. I wanted to live. But I knew it was something that I had to do and I wanted to do. And then fell into depression. I got like this. Got really skinny. At that point, I smoked marijuana. It was the best thing ever, because it helped me relax. It didn't give me anxiety. And that allowed me I was in therapy. I was really working it out. I was going through it. I was really working through it. I was reading certain things. I was educating myself. I was meditating. I was getting into my spiritualness, not realizing that all of this was going to help me later on. When I was losing weight, I learned about fungus. I learned about detoxing. I learned about so many things. So along the way of my life, of my journey, I just got better with certain things. And I just got better with educating myself in order for me to live a better lifestyle to help me. So that's how that happened. And then I got to, and how I ended up back at the salon was, since I moved back home, I was depressed. I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a fucking job. I was like, how? I have 2 degrees. How? I have experience. Like, I've been a manager. Like, how is it that I can't get a job? But that was God. And when I saw my mom one day come home, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I see my mom, and she's just tired. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing? So I decided to help my mom again, because I didn't want that anymore. So I spoke to my mom, and I was like, you want me to help? Yeah, sure. Bro, my mom was paying me $200 a week. $200 a week. Mommy, you were wrong for that.
That should be illegal.
$200. I had 2 degrees.
That's a sweatshop.
Yo, a sweatshop for real. For real.
So when did your love for feet begin?
So it was during that time.
Because it was a nail salon, so it goes hand in hand.
Yeah. So I go into work, I'm like, I'm telling staff, don't treat me like the owner's daughter, because I'm getting paid $200. So don't treat me, because I ain't getting paid that, So But the reason why I was okay with it is because I really sat back and I thought about it. And I said to myself, well, I'm not paying rent. Not paying rent.
Mom's cooking?
No, my mom don't cook no more. She cook like once or twice a year. That's it. That's it. Mommy don't cook no more.
What?
Her 2 plates of food was good back then. Now she don't do that no more.
Wow.
But no, but I wanted to. I understood because I was starting from the bottom. I had no experience anymore. I had no value or worth to the salon. She wasn't wrong for that. She wasn't. She was giving me a test. So now I felt the same way as I did when I was a boxer. I got a chance. But it was very difficult at that time because severe depression is tough. And if I didn't go through that, I would not have understood it. I honestly would not have oh my God, no. And I had to go through it and I had to learn through that. And sitting down, and my mind, look, the mind is so powerful. And my mind, because the way I felt, my mind would be like, look at you having 2 degrees and doing someone's feet. Ego big time. But it was a battle with myself. I didn't realize it was a battle with myself. So at that point, I'm speaking to my grandma, and my grandma's so dope. My grandma is amazing. My grandma is 83 years old. She's my ride or die. She's my best friend. She's my godmother. Thank you. God bless her.
She's in New York?
She's in New York. She goes back and forth. My grandma's a Jew. Anybody that has met and know my grandma, they're like, yes. But
does she still cook?
Yes.
There you go.
She still throws it down.
There you go.
She still throws it down. And she's amazing. So she taught me a very important lesson that every single day I carry with me. And I believe that that's the reason why I don't use hate. And she taught me was you have to do everything with love. So once I started putting that love into my job, that my mind would be like, oh, you have 2 degrees in your... And I'd be like, bitch, shut up. Shut up. I'm in my world. And I fell in love with it like I fell in love with boxing. It was the same feeling for me. It was that passion, that helping, that releasing, that passion where something just looks so beautiful and clean, you know? So that's how I got into it. And girls at the salon, you know, at that time I didn't have my license, so I would learn from the staff. And our staff majority has been Dominican, between Dominican, Mexican, Mexican, Ecuadorian, some Puerto Rican, but it has been around that norm for us. So
all Hispanic,
you know. I actually had 1 white, 1 black. Yeah, Stephanie, rest in peace. I love you, Stephanie.
Dang.
Yeah. So for us, it's been different. For me, it's been different. I thought that Dominican pedicures, the way that they did it was Dominican style. That's honestly what I thought. I was like, yo, that's Dominican style. Not knowing that it was ingrowns. So when I learned, I would ask one of the girls that did it, and I would be like, but how do you take it out? And she showed me the trick, and I was like, oh. And then I used everything else. Science, college. You know, I went to college for 10 years. And I'm like, okay, well, the skin has 3 layers. Because I had an issue. I had an issue with people, anyone that she did, them coming in and coming back and having an infection. Or it still being there. Or just seeing that person sitting there, but hurts. That hurts. So for me, I was like, but I don't want the customer to experience that. I just became curious. It was like, okay, And customers just started coming to me. I'm like, huh? What? Me? Because, bro, I did a gel manicure one time. That was horrible. It had to be redone, you know? So I learned. I really learned. I went through it. So I didn't know what I was doing. So that's why I mentioned earlier that things have been given to me. And basically, I just take it. It's a lemon. I just made lemonade. It's my lane. I created it. There's a reason why I have to learn this. And I learned to go with the flow after I let go of the unnecessary things, of the negative things, of the things that really don't matter at the end of the day. You stress about it now, but you're not going to stress about it later.
So the ingrown toenail, that happens when you cut your toenails on the edges too close. Something like that? No. How does that work?
Yes and no. So, a ingrown is either one or two things. It's either you have built up cuticle that it just becomes really hard, and it's right there on the nail and on the side. So when it's receiving that pressure, it's just so thick that it hurts. The most common one is when the toenail goes under the skin. So sometimes it creates a C, or sometimes it pitches down straight, or sometimes people they feel their toenail on the side bothering them, and they just like take it off halfway. But then when it grows up again, because your nails grow, you start to feel it again. So you keep doing the same thing, and every single time it just gets better, and and you think you got it, you're like, I got it. You don't got it. You're just making it worse. Sometimes it could be from wearing tight shoes. Sometimes it can be sports. Sometimes you actually really get it from your parents. You get your parents' feet. So sometimes there's situations that can be controlled. There's other times that it can't. Can a foot doctor take it out, remove it? Yes. Can it grow back? Yes. That's the bad thing about it. Can it not grow back? Yes. It all depends on you. Have I removed ingrowns that don't come back? Yes, because probably that's been a lot of buildup, or maybe the person cut their toenails the wrong way, and I cut it the right way, and it's like just magically it's not there anymore. So ingrowns is so painful, and there's no medication. There's nothing that can remove it but by removing it.
And how did you educate yourself on that specifically?
So I learned that Dominican pedicures is not Dominican pedicures. I learned that I was doing ingrowns. And how I learned is started doing research. I became curious. I became like, what is that? I started becoming so curious and just educating myself with it.
And like YouTube or Google, or what was it?
It was Google. It was sometimes certain Instagram pages, because it's few of us. There's not too many of us that do ingrowns remover that actually speaks about it. So just curiosity. I was just wondering. I was just curious.
Does any part of this job disgust you?
No, it did in the beginning.
It did in the beginning? Yeah, so then you just get used to it, right?
No, it was so what I did was, the reason why it disgusted me, it was because one, I didn't educate myself with it, and second, it was just some of my staff would work without gloves. I'm like, how do you do that? So it was just about being clean. It was just like, okay, well, if I'm going to be doing your feet, I got to wear gloves, because once I'm done, even if I wash my hands, I'm eating. I need to, that could get on me it was more that. It was just certain things. I would wear gloves. I would wear a mask, gloves, even before COVID, because I am just someone that I like to be clean. That's how I have kept my customers from never receiving funguses from me. Because at the end of the day, what good am I in providing a service if I'm going to give you something? That doesn't work for me. My tools go through a 3 cleaning process for a reason, because every process is for something different, a bacteria that's different. So and then also learning from my staff, learning from others, like, no, I don't want my customers to do that. That's taking my time. That's putting my job, my name, my reputation on the line. And that's taking my time too, because that means that you have to send me a message or call me in order for me to see you again, when I could have avoided all of this from the beginning by doing my job correct. So me being professional and me seeing what not to do from everyone else did really help.
Nice. I was looking at your menu, and there was something that mentioned CBD. What does that do for a pedicure?
CBD is my favorite. So CBD is, as many know, it's a type of marijuana that affects the body where it's affecting you. For example, arthritis, muscle pain, things like that. So what I have done with my menu is that it's a reflection of me. It's a reflection of my customers. It's a reflection of my culture, what I represent. So when I learned about THC, I also learned about CBD and how it also helps elderly people as well, which is really good. So my menu is a menu that is for those that want to experience relaxation, want to receive more of a spa. So I'm inexpensive, where I provide a pedicure for $40, but yet again, I can give you a really good spa pedicure. So with the CBD is really good to help those that are in pain. So what I do is that CBD is based off, I don't make those products. If I can either make it, my last option is always buying a type of product. If I can make it myself, awesome. If I can't, I will find someone, small business owner, that has the same ethics as I do, has similar, we just click. So with the CBD, I have someone that she actually moved to Florida. She's one of my customers, and she was my customers back in the days, and she lived around the corner, and she started making beauty products. And I was like, can you make me a CBD bath bomb? Can you make me CBD? She was like, yes. And I was like, okay, this is perfect. And what I did was that I buy my products from her when it comes to the CBD. She is a single mom of 3. And for me, I prefer give her my money, my business, so she can help her family instead of me helping a big corporation.
Absolutely.
So I have put I always try to help my community. I'm always there for my community. Because if it wasn't for my customers believing in me, I wouldn't be who I am. So, and I also have learned to help others because of my grandmother, because of my mom. My grandmother, up to this age, she still goes to DR and she does the Tres Reyes and this and that. And my mom is like ride or die. Mom, she's right there. So I have grown up with really that environment to help others. So I want to always help my community. And if it's within my powers, my ability, I'm more than welcome to do it. So that's the reason why I get the products from her. Afro-Latina. She has an Instagram. I will go ahead and post her up for people to buy products as well from her. She does a lot of bath bombs, which are really good. So she has created a bath bomb for me. She has created a scrub, a CBD scrub. I have an oil and I give a massage, and I focus with services are custom. What you need is different than what I need. So if you're someone that you want me to focus more on your legs, focus more on this, focus more on the bottom of your feet, I'm focusing on the things that needs it, because that's going to be able for you to be able to get everything that you need and your experience. And then I'm doing a good job and you're happy. And that's my goal, for you to be happy.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's jump into fungus.
Ooh.
How does one prevent fungus, and how does one get fungus?
That's a good thing. Okay. So let's go with how can someone get fungus before we talk about how to prevent it. So there is about 80 different type of funguses.
Feet fungus.
No. Yes.
Specifically feet. There's 40 different types?
No, there's 80.
80.
80.
Just for feet.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Just for feet. So fungi is 80. Okay. So let me correct myself, because I just saw my notes. So,
grab your notes if you need to grab
yes,
them.
no, I grabbed it. I got it. I do want to know if we can pause for a moment.
Of course. All right. Fungus. So 80 different types of fungi. Foot fungi.
There's 80 different type. No, there's 80 different type of fungi.
Not feet.
No.
Specifically feet is what I wanted to focus on.
So with feet, there is 2 that is athlete feet, and then there's fungus on the toenail.
Let's talk about both of them, how you get them.
Okay, so when it comes to fungus, a lot of people think that it starts with their feet. It doesn't. It starts with your stomach. What happens is that your stomach is a reflection. Your feet is a reflection of your stomach. So your stomach is dark and humid. When you put on shoes and socks, they're dark and humid. So fungus does not care who you are, what you do, nothing. It's a live bacteria that its job is to grow. So what happens is that our childhood environment is a foundation of your fungus. Why? If we look at when COVID happened, a lot of people passed away because there was an underlying problem. So what happens is that everyone is born with fungus. Everyone is born with parasites. Fungus starts as the parasite. It starts very small. In the Dominican culture and Puerto Rican, a lot of Caribbean, I don't know how far it goes, but, and this is where the different type of medicine when it comes to Eastern and Western really comes into play. So growing up, I remember my family saying to me, my grandmother, my mom, or speaking about, not directly to me because I was too young, but speaking about, so-and-so is grinding their teeth. Ay, mija, eso parásito. It's true. Parasites, we get it when we're young, eating a lot of candy, drinking a lot of soda. There's children that are growing up with that type of lifestyle. So those are more prone to get diabetes, to be obese. So when I speak to customers about fungus, it's a lot more deeper. That's the reason why I provide feet fungus, feet reading. Because what happens is that...
I hope you don't provide feet fungus.
Right now. I think that's my job. They're like, not to avoid it, like teaching them, but imagine, no, that's the reason why I keep my tools so clean. But people don't understand that it comes from your foundation. What food are you eating? What's your environment? Are you living in a home that you are having parents argue? You're having being molested. There's so many things that go behind it that when I do my feed reading, it's a story to me, and I find it interesting. So how I'm able to really realize and recognize what's going on is because those parasites later on become a fungus. And the reason why is because our emotions stay right here, our gut. You know, when they say, oh, you have that gut feeling. Listen, I listen to my gut. I listen to my gut big time. And when it tells me, no, don't do something, I don't do it. And it's because I'm so in tune with my body. But a lot of us are not, because when it comes to your state of mind, your emotions, your environment, what is it that you're around that's creating this? Triggers. That's why it's like religion is beautiful. It's awesome. But what's your spiritual like? You know, are you one that, are you going to take everything personal? You know, what type of person are you? And by your feet, I can tell. So what happens is that if this is so, the gut is the second most important part of your body. You have your brain and then you have your gut. So if this is growing into this, there's certain toenails, there's certain style of fungus that I notice that I can tell. There's fungus that are more aggressive than others. Why? Because there's certain parts that are more weak than others. So I have learned that your right represents your liver, your lungs, and your stress level. Your left represents your heart and your emotions. So depending on what side you are dealing with more, it's going to show on your feet.
That's deep.
It is deep. It is deep. It is deep. But that's the reason why I say what I've been through. I went through it. I understood it. I can speak about it today and I can help others, because when I look at a feed, it's not about, oh, nasty. No, it's more, let me tell you your life story. And that's the reason why I have had customers crying while they're receiving a pedicure, not because of the pain, because how is it that you're able to tap into that? How is it that you're able to find out how I felt? And I'm like, God did. You know, like God did.
God did.
God did. That's why I say, like, it's a career, something that I have learned, I have built based off my experiences, what I've been through, what family and friends have been through, my knowledge. And at the end of the day, it's just really about how is it that I can help you? I want to tell you why you got the fungus the most that I can. I'm not telling you I'm a doctor and I'm going to go ahead like, woo, you know, and just do a miracle. And at the end of the day, be able to help you 100%. You got to help yourself too. I can give you the tools. Guaranteed I can give you the tools. Some of the tools may be like, I'm sorry, but your fungus is so deep, I can't help you. You have to go to the foot doctor. You have to get antibiotics. You have to detox. But I can tell you how you can detox. I'll be the first to tell you if you're taking those pills that the doctor prescribed, because they first need to test your liver to see if your body is able to, your liver is able to handle that type of antibiotics. I'm going to tell you not to detox. I'm going to tell you take probiotics and prebiotics. I'm going to tell you don't drink, don't eat red meat, don't eat certain things, because now you're forcing your body. So how is it that you're expecting to get a result when you're being so aggressive to your body, if your body's already under attack? And that's where I feel like Western medicine and Eastern medicine don't really go with each other, and they're so different. And as much as I want to say, oh, well, Western medicine is messed up for always giving us drug, but you know what? There's situations like having really bad, and I've seen really bad funguses where I'm just like, you got to go to the foot doctor. I can't help you with this, because it starts within. I can't help you down there if you're doing if I can't help you in here? Because you're not helping yourself based off your diet, your lifestyle. There's sometimes customers that I tell them, I'm not referring to detox about food. I'm referring to detox about friends and families. And that's real talk. That's real talk. Sometimes you have to detox yourself. There's boundaries that sometimes you need to put in place, because when you're going through something, and when I went through something for 7 years, at the end, I was not the same person that I was when I started. I didn't even know I was going through that. So I had to reintroduce myself to my friends, to my family. And those that love me, respect me, will stay by my side. Those that don't, I love you. I would cheer you on always. But I'm not about this arguing. I'm not about he said, she said. I've never been about that. I'm not supposed to be the same person I was 7 years. I'm supposed to change. But when I change for better and greatness. And if you are my friend, you should understand that. If you don't, I'm sorry. I love you. But I got to keep doing me.
Cut them off.
That's your thing,
That's
right? Cut them off.
Cut 'em
That's
off.
That's it.
That's it. Am I going to be your friend, or am I cutting you off? What's happening here?
Exactly. So it's crazy. Like, but if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be able to help my customers, because I know it's hard. It's hard. Like, how? Like, how do you let go of someone that you have known for so long? Because I have learned la costumbre más grande que el amor, meaning you being there is more, the comfort is bigger than the love. But I had to go through difficult things like I did that I spoke about before. That was like, I need a drink for this. Like, come on. Because at the end of the day, I love who I am. And I fought so hard for that without even realizing that I was fighting for that. But I'm happy I went through that. I'm happy I went through the breakups. I'm happy that I argued with so-and-so to get my boundaries point across. I'm happy I don't speak to you. I'm happy that you still following me on social media. And I'm like, yup, living my best life. Let's talk about it. Yes, living my best life. I'm happy. Because once you realize that your happiness depends on you, there's no stopping you at the end of the day. You can say what you want. Those are not facts. That's just an opinion of you, which that does not make a reflection of who I am and what I am. So at the end of the day, I'm real with my customers. I have certain conversations. There's certain things that when it's talked about at the salon, it's talked about the salon. It's between you and me. Ain't nobody else knowing. Better yet, when I do my feed reading, I don't remember what I say afterwards. I really don't. I don't remember. I don't want to remember. I don't want to remember. That's your privacy. You told me that in confidence. You told me that when you were vulnerable. Why would I ever use that against you? Not only that, when I'm doing someone's feet, it's an energy that I cannot explain. That's the reason why I still do it. That's the reason why I say, I'm not giving this up, even me working full time. Even me, like, sometimes like, oh my God, I just, working 12, 13 hours a day. It's hard.
What do you think about in the Bible where they talk about washing Jesus' feet and all of the above?
It's called pedicure for a reason. We curing out here. Yes. Through my life, God is 3, right? Mind, soul, and I forget the other part.
Stomach, maybe? Feet?
I don't know. But God is 3, I guess. God is 3. So it's kind of like when you're born, this part is so sensitive. This part is so sensitive. As an adult, it's so sensitive. We're receiving things. We're educating ourselves. We feel things. And we release things. And when we intake, when we're eating, that's given energy. That's given to the whole body. So when you eat and you're tired, oh my God, I'm so tired. That's not really food that your body wants. So what are you giving yourself? So with feed, you take in and you release from your feed. So I think that's the most beautiful thing. And it's beautiful that you brought it up because I feel like that's my purpose with God. That's the purpose he gave me. I don't do feed because of the money. If people only really knew my schedule, how I work it, how tired I sometimes get, the love I put in, people probably wouldn't even want to do it. And that's perfectly fine because I'm happy to do that job.
You did it for $200 a week.
Right. I did it for $200 a week, people. That was crazy. $200 a week. And I hated it at that time. But yeah. So there's there's so many different type of fungus. There's so many different type of situations that every situation, what you need, how can I help you? And one of my good friends taught me that. So with my grandmother teaching me, do everything with love, with one of my best friends, like my sister, saying, how can I help you? There's a service that's so unique, but the foundation is love. And I want people to truly love their feet. No one has ever, people that don't show their feet for many years because they're so embarrassed. For me to get from them, bless you.
Thank you.
For me to get from them, I want to wear sandals. I want to show off my feet. That's a feeling that only those that really go through it understand. And it's something so beautiful. And for me to be able to provide that to someone, it's my pleasure.
I like that.
Thank you.
What are your overall life goals?
Continue my peace. Continue being peaceful. Continue to handle certain situations because we all know in life be lifing and God be Godding. And handle everything gracefully because there's things that really don't matter, but we sometimes make it a big deal because our ego, our pride. For me to continue to be able to love my family, love my friends, be able to provide for myself, continue to provide for myself, to create that foundation that I have always wanted in my life, for me to be able to give love out. Because at the end of the day, life is so short and we make big deals about things that really don't matter. Me to continue growing as a person, as an individual, as a woman, for me to continue being happy, for me to continue having my business with my mom, for my mom to retire, for her to be okay, for me to love my grandmother as much as I can and have her in my life as much as I can, for me to enjoy my nieces, my nephews, my brothers. I did have a brother that passed away. So, for me to, even at the job that I'm at, for me to represent correct, for me to help my community, which is very important. It's important to me because I'm from Yonkers and there's nothing like it. It's a Yonkers thing. For me, it's also Dominican. I went through so many struggles that who I am, what I am now, is that what I wanted to be when I was a little girl. And once I'm older, who I want to be when I'm older, I'm going to be proud of, because life is about changing and it's hard, but we still got to go through it. God gave me another day, so let's live it up.
Straight up.
Let's live it up.
Straight up, live it up.
Mm-hmm.
We're nearing the end of the podcast. If you can let the people know where they can find you, what do you have coming up, and any last advice you like to leave the people.
Okay, so I'm going to go with first advice because I want people to, I'm just not a nail technician that you got to come to me in order to be good. With my business, I'm growing. I'm learning different things on how is it that I want to do, how is it that I can help, what is it that I want to do, and things like that. So in my Instagram of Tai Babe Cave, which is the independence of Tai Nail and Hair Salon. And the reason why that happened is because Tai Nail and Hair Salon is a mother and daughter. It's hair, it's nails, it's the salon of one stop.
So your mom did keep Tai.
Oh, yeah.
It made it seem like she didn't want to keep it because people wouldn't know it was a Dominican ran business.
No, she kept it. It's still there. We're still pushing. We're still pushing. Listen, that's my mom's baby. That's my mom's baby. I have helped her 12 years. That is the first Dominican American modern salon of Yonkers because we provide mobile services online. We do ingrowns. You know, we're different. So we still have that, and that's her baby. And I will always be by my mother's side. But what happens is that for me, I created Tai Babe Cave because Tai Babe Cave is the self-love. It's more of mani and pedicure. My goal is for me to provide a private space for my customers because there's a lot of cases that people do feel very uncomfortable with. And I want people for them to be comfortable. I also have ideas of how is it that I want. My businesses is my creation. My creation is what I feel that people want. What is it that I want? So when I do a pedicure, I'm doing a pedicure really how I would want someone to do it for me. So there's big things gonna come, God willing, that is gonna be different. So you can catch me at Tai Babe Cave. And then I have Tai Queen of Pedicures. So Tai Queen of Pedicure is the entrepreneur, is where you're able to see me more and see feet and nails. People don't like it. I'm not gonna point to who, but there's people that, don't like to see certain things.
It's disgusting.
Disgusting is disgusting, as they say. But I have to still promote that. So out of respect to those that want to see just feet, because people love my ingrown pedicures. Oh my God, they love it. So I am posting more on YouTube, which I have, which is Tai Martinez. That's really what I go by. And I also do speaking to the youth to help them go through whatever they're going through, and hopefully they can see something in me that would inspire them to want to achieve and really push forward regardless of what their life situation is. And just see me, I'm very private, so it took me a while for me to really see where is it that I want to be and how I want to do. So I don't go on nobody's lane. I just be in my own lane. I do my own thing. So catch me at Tai Babe Cave if you want to see more nail and pedicures. Queen of Pedicure if you want to see the entrepreneur, the public speaking, just Tai as it is, because I'm just a vibe. Like, I just love to surround myself around good things and good people and just be there for my community, my friends and family.
Boom! There you have it. Community, friends, family, love, feet, health. It's been a great conversation. Thank you, Tai.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Please like and subscribe. Peace and love.
Thank you.